Today, we're going to be officially announcing our first guest on Locked On Blue Jays.
You are Locked On Blue Jays, your daily Toronto Blue Jays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Blue Jays. Thank you for making Locked On Blue Jays your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. New customers join today and you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started.
I did not think you were going to get through that, but you managed to just barely squeak it out. So.
Okay. So during the intro, we're sitting here. Carter did one of these, and then we both were doing one of these. I don't know. It was just so dumb. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. And like I said, I do have bets for the Super Bowl. But before I do that, Monday is going to be a huge episode for this podcast for us. It is our first guest. Should we just announce it right now?
Yeah, I think I'll take the reins here. And it is going to be Caitlin McGrath from The Athletic. She has agreed to come on with us for at least a little while. We're not sure how long it's going to be. For sure, the Monday episode, depending on how long the interview is, we might extend it to Tuesday. And we're excited. I hope you guys are as well.
Yeah, it's going to be, you know what? Personally, I put so much stock into The Athletic reporters. I'm I know Murat Atesh. He covers the Winnipeg Jets. Great guy. He helped me out getting Caitlin McGrath's contact. So big shout out to Murat Atesh. And yeah, just to get more perspectives, I think going into the season, going into spring training, it's going to be really interesting what Caitlin has to say. But that being said, I'm a degenerate and we're degenerates. So we have created some Super Bowl bets for you guys. And you can let me know if you're riding with me or not. I don't even know if I'm riding with me, but here they are. We're going to, when the Jays season gets underway, we're going to do like maybe once or twice a week. And we're going to keep track of like how many of our bets hit and how much we're down and who. And with the consultant as well is going to give us his bets.
We'll keep track of the stats here. So initially, maybe you guys hold off on riding with us to see how our track record is. But hey, if we maybe we'll catch fire and have some success, so you can ride it out with us with the boys.
So the first bet is one. I was sort of just looking through FanDuel's pre-made bets, and they had Kansas City Chiefs money line, Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown score, Travis Kelce anytime touchdown score, and Isaiah Pacheco for anytime touchdown score. $10 pays $78.60. Pretty good bet. I'm probably going to put a little bit more than $10 down, but I figured that's a good starting off point. So
absolutely. I mean, George Kittle has been there before. Obviously, Purdy likes going to him. Pacheco, good running game. Runs like he hates the world. McCaffrey, not enough to say about that guy. And then I've learned to never bet against Mahomes. So I think this bet is actually going to hit as well.
Yeah. Then the next one that I have is actually... So what's really cool about FanDuel is it gives you how many people have placed this bet. So if it's really popular, it'll give you like a little whatever it is. And so 664 people have placed this bet. Christian McCaffrey over 91 rushing yards. Patrick Mahomes over 26 rushing. Purdy over 12.5 rushing. Kelce over 72.5 receiving. George Kittle over 49.5 receiving. $10 pays $241.30. I'm a little bit iffy. We were talking about the McCaffrey yards on this one, but the guy runs through brick walls. So I don't also hate this one.
Yeah, I mean, best running back in the league. It's going to be tough with the Chiefs defense that has been historically good throughout the playoffs. That's the only thing. 91 yards is a lot, especially for a game that might be a shootout. Probably won't be running the ball nearly as much, but who knows? Again, it's all early how it starts. You'll be able to tell within the first 5 minutes of the game if it's going to be a shootout or not. And if, for a fan perspective, I'm kind of hoping it is. I'm hoping it's kind of similar to that Eagles Chiefs Super Bowl we had last year.
Yeah, exactly. Then this is the one that I created that I think that I'm going to roll with and probably throw a decent amount on is Kansas City Chiefs money line, Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown score, Travis Kelce anytime touchdown score. And then I didn't add in the Pacheco over on the yards, but I think I'm going to add that one in as well. And then for a fun one, we were looking through the prop bets. I'm probably going to go with the under on the national anthem time because it is set at 90.5 seconds, which is a minute and a half or just over a minute and a half. So
And maybe you are a math guy.
that's right. Big math guy here. Shout out at Cole Edward Schreier School in Beausejour, Manitoba.
No, there you go.
But this is set 1.78 on the under. And I think the two times that I honestly, for the life of me, can't remember who the singer is, but she has never gone over a minute and 25 seconds.
So you did your research then, eh?
Well, I saw a post about it. That's about it, honestly. But interesting enough. So I was like, you know what? Let's have some fun. You know, that'll set the tone for the evening for me.
Oh, and for some reason, I have a feeling that no matter which team wins, honestly, they're gonna have yellow Gatorade. So I don't know if you guys want to ride with me on that as well. But I usually don't bet on the Gatorade because like God knows who they're gonna have.
Well, they said last year that all they use is yellow Gatorade, and it wasn't yellow Gatorade.
Yeah, I think it got leaked before that it was yellow Gatorade, and it unfortunately cost some fans some money. But I think this year maybe they were just a year late on it. So I'm gonna go with the yellow Gatorade.
I'll put my head through a wall if that happens again. But now we're gonna actually, since we got some of the I don't know, house cleaning. Sure, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. We did want to get into a little bit of maybe a debate, maybe not a debate. We want to put up who we think the better catcher is. So I'll ask you to start it off and let you sort of go on your little tangent. Kirk or Jansen?
Yeah, I'm gonna start this out by just kind of like giving you some previous stats, how their careers are, how young they are. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into this, and I'm thinking about this as like a long-term perspective kind of thing, not necessarily just for next year. I think I'll make two predictions of who I would rather have next year and long-term. But we're going to start with Kirk. Obviously, a down year for the guy. Hit only 250, 93 hits, 43 RBIs, 8 home runs. I mean, for Kirk, he's not really a home run hitter. 334 on base percentage, so not too bad. Kirk's obviously known for his good eye, one of the best eyes in the league, doesn't strike out a lot. And had an OPS of 692, which is not great, and an OPS plus of 93. Like I said, really good eye. I'll move on to the kind of the Jano stats real quick. Jano, 86 games played, 61 hits, 17 home runs, which is pretty good in the amount of games he played. 53 RBIs, OPS of 786. In 2022 for Jano, it was 855. And that, again, was in about 75 to 85 games. So not a lot of games played, but that is the problem with Jano. And the argument that a lot of people would make is that he has trouble staying on the field. So, I mean, I looked over his last 6 seasons. This is the 6 seasons he was in the MLB. He only played over 80 games in 2 of those 6 seasons. And I get he's a catcher, and you're not expecting your catcher to play 162 games every year. But you do need a little bit more consistency from him playing because you can't be the best catcher in the league if you're not on the field.
Yeah. And just sort of some of the stuff you said, Kirk All-Star 2022 Silver Slugger. You know, I love Kirk. I really do. I think the 2022 season was so electric for him. But at the end of the day, I think Jano is better with a little bit of because of the games he doesn't play. And I agree 100% with you that you can't be the better catcher if you don't play. So it's a little bit of a discussion of Jano has a little bit more production, a little bit better of a player, I think. But if he doesn't play as much, then are you thinking that Kirk is a long-time solution here?
Yeah, I think you have to go with the durability in Kirk, unfortunately. I think in terms of the future as well, he's younger. He's 25. He has shown a little bit more offensive upside, in my opinion. Obviously, Jano. The thing with Jano, he has been clutch, and 17 home runs in like 86 games is crazy. Like that is pace really for over 30 home runs, and really that would have led the Blue Jays. But the thing with Jano, and it's the thing that is really holding me back on, I'm going to go through his injury history since 2021. So in 2021, in June, he had a hamstring injury. In July, he re-aggravated that hamstring injury. So that's 2 so far. 2022, in April, he hurt his oblique. And then in June, he had a finger injury. So that is 4 throughout 2 years. And then 2023, he had 5 different injuries. In May, he had a groin injury. In July, he had a forearm. In August, he had a wrist injury. And then 5 days later, he had another hand injury on August 10th. And then obviously the foul ball off of his finger, which fractured it and kept him out of the rest of the season in September.
Which that injury makes no sense. Why is your hand there?
Yeah.
You were taught from 3 years old wanting to be a catcher that get your hand out of the way. And I don't know, a little bit of me, and I don't know if for those of you who are listening to this, I've been shaking my head this whole time because that is a ridiculous amount of injuries. And I don't know how severe some of these are, but for you to not play, and like a little bit of me is like, hey, if that's me, I would want to be in the games. Is like I would sort of play through some of these. And I don't know. Again, I don't know how severe some of these are. Maybe some of them you really can't. You don't want to re-aggravate something. But still, like you're trying to prove yourself as the number one guy here.
Yeah, with Jano, like obviously he does want to play, and he said it himself. He is frustrated with the amount of injuries he has, and some of those are due to bad luck. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't account for every injury, obviously, but then there is a little bit thinking like if this guy's had this many injuries, maybe he is a little bit injury prone. And like you said, with that hand, that is pretty inexcusable in my opinion. Like you said, you get taught that pretty early on. Maybe it was a comfortability thing. I'm not sure what the
Yeah.
reasoning was that he had his hand out there, and obviously very unfortunate that foul ball got hit off of his hand and just kind of jammed it and fractured his finger. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Kirk for like those reasons, just because he's healthier, really good eye, and I think he's gonna have a bounce back season. I mean, one thing I love about Kirk is just it's the way he's built. I mean, he looks like when he's running around the bases, he almost looks like he's a little kid that stole candy from his parents and just ripping around the bases. Really good eye of Kirk, obviously. It's like him being a smaller build, he has a small strike zone. So it's pretty tough to locate your pitches against him. And then with that good eye, I mean, obviously shrinking the strike zone even more, not swinging at junk pitches. Struck out 45 times last year, walked 42. So, I mean, not striking out a ton, walks quite a bit. He's got arbitration for 3 more years. So that's more team control, obviously. With Jano, you'd have to pay him more. Great fielder as well. He had 6 errors last season, 993 fielding percentage. And that was playing a lot more games than he was used to, especially with Jano going down again.
And don't get me wrong, I think neither of us really want to throw Jano under the bus or anything because I really like Jano. I think you do too. And this isn't like a hey, we're here to crap all over Jano, because if ideally we just keep both of them and there we go. Right?
Yeah, that's exactly where I was gonna go with this.
So we want to make that very clear that we are big fans of Jano as well. And if Jano could play more games, give him more games. I'd love to see the more of Jano. But I think 100% with everything that you just said, especially the 3-year team arbitration, huge deal for Kirk, right? And for the Blue Jays. Yeah, I don't know. I'm leaning the same way as you with Kirk just because of the durability aspect of it. And I don't know about this is sort of a weird question, but me and you both pitched. We had a catcher in. I think we brought him up last time. Dallin Wilton was our catcher, and then we had a catcher. I think it was in your. I want to say it was your last year, Dylan Liskey.
Yeah,
very small catcher compared to a very big catcher. And I feel like with Kirk, he's very small, very compact when he's in his stance. When you were pitching, was that somebody that is that something that mattered to you of the size of your catcher and how much they're showing?
for me, not whatsoever. And especially at an MLB level, like you just got to focus in on the glove.
For
And,
sure.
like there's no excuses. You can't be like, oh, I don't like the image of like a smaller catcher back there. That's not a real thing. I think that's just excuses. Yeah, I mean, like when you've been pitching for as long as these guys have, you got to just be used to all different catcher sizes and everything like that.
Yeah, for sure. I more so it was a question of you personally, because I know when I was coaching the high school team for a couple of years, some guys were like, "Oh, he's too small back there. He's not whatever." And I always told them, I'm like, I did have that preference, but it was more a preference of because me and Dow were together for 4 years.
So, and that's exactly where I was going to lead this, is that the pitchers on the Blue Jays also have their preferences for these two guys.
Yeah.
I know Kevin Gossman usually throws to Alejandro Kirk. Ryu, when he was playing, he usually liked Jano. Bassett, I don't think he really cared, but I think normally it was Kirk. Manoah loved going to Jan. No, I think it was Kirk for John Manoah as well. But it's been such a long time since that guy pitched. It's tough to remember. I want to kind of back up with Jano a little bit here, because I feel like I was kind of crapping on him a little bit. Jano was probably our most clutch hitter last year,
Oh,
and
yeah,
he
I
showed
agree.
that multiple times.
Yeah.
One thing that I do remember is his 2-run home run against the Tigers. It was the bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. Chapman just got a walk. Needed something. I thought the Jays were dead, and then Jano obviously pull side home runs, which
Boom.
we do not see a lot of. 2-strike pitch, get out of here. And then Nathan Lucas, out of all guys, I think gets the winning run. Hits a double down the line, and yeah, drives the runner in. And then another one was against the Yankees, 10th inning, going into extras. Jano comes 3-run bomb, pull side home run. So his home runs are one of the coolest to watch. I would have probably Vladdy and Varsho ahead of him,
Yeah.
but Jano, I love the pull side home runs. It's just when you can tell with Jano his swing, the no gloves too. Like
Yeah.
it's such a cool look for the guy.
Yeah.
And Jano is one of the longest tenure Blue Jays on the team right now. I know it's only been 6 years in the majors. Obviously, had a lot of time in the minors, but that's a guy that you don't want to move on from. And
Yep.
saying that right now, I think the system is perfect right now. I think you have a good catcher tandem, probably one of the best in the league. There is no reason for you to split that up whatsoever.
I'm so with you. I think having two exceptional catchers that these pitchers can feel like figure out who they work with best and have that good split is awesome. I could not be more happy with the catcher tandem that we have. And I don't think a lot of other teams can say that, right? That they have two catchers. Hey, our 5 starters, who do you like? Right? I don't know too many other teams that really have that.
No, it just gives your team a lot of options, right? It gives the pitchers their ability to have a preference, and then you can kind of ride the hot hand as well. Jano is a very streaky hitter, one of those things. If he's on his game, that's why the Jays were hitting him 4 at sometimes. Kirk, more of a consistent guy. Obviously, baseball, everyone goes through streaks. But if like that's why I was saying, if it was a hypothetical situation where we had to pick one, gun to our head, I think I'd have to go with Kirk.
I'm with you. Yeah. Yep. And total hypothetical here. Hopefully, this decision won't have to be made.
Best case scenario is that they both remain on the team for a long time.
You know what? We're going to get into a guy that maybe we have to compare these two guys to, and see who sizes up. But first of all, Super Bowl this weekend, and I think Locked On's covering it.
2 days away from the big day. Yeah, obviously, all Locked On creators. The 49ers are probably going pretty crazy right now, all their fans. And our Locked On creator for the 49ers is providing great coverage. Same with the Chiefs guy as well. 2 guys that, if you guys want to tune into, they should be featured on our 24/7 Locked On streaming channel. So just go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube, and you guys can watch the first ever 24/7 streaming channel. Yeah, one thing I've been trying recently is I've been trying to make a ton of different new things. I've been getting so bored of my old meal plans. So what I've been doing is I've been grocery shopping a lot more, and grocery shopping is expensive as is. So if I can get any money back on my groceries, I am taking full advantage of that. And with Ibotta, they give you that exact chance. Ibotta is a free app that gives you the most cash back every time you shop on hundreds of items from groceries to beauty supplies to toys. So you can make sure you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. The average Ibotta user earns $145 per year. That could cover the cost of an entire shopping trip. Buy that flight you've been eyeing, that Blue Jays game you've been dying to go to, or that fancy dinner you've been craving. Other apps give you points that don't amount to much. With Ibotta, just add your offers to app upload and upload your receipt to get you real cash that you can cash out of your bank account, PayPal, or gift cards. Join the over 50 million savers and earn cash back every time you shop for over 2,700 brand sales, retailers including Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and more. Right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta by using the code LOCKEDONMLB when you register. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash back and use code LOCKEDONMLB. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store and use code LOCKEDONMLB.
So me and you were having these catcher debates, right? And a little bit of me was thinking this, and then you brought it up. Should we compare our two guys to the man that we gave up, Gabriel Moreno?
There's always going to be comparisons, whether it's about what we gave up in this trade or who we should have gave away, who we should have kept. And Gabriel Moreno is making it tough for Jays fans to digest giving him up, especially with the D-backs making it to the World Series. I'm just going to go over Moreno's stats real quick. Last season, there was an injury to their main catcher, so he played quite a bit of games. He played 111 games, 284 average, 97 hits, 7 home runs, 50 RBI, OPS of 747, and an OPS plus of 104. So just above average in that move. It was a tough situation for the Blue Jays. I mean, you had 3 MLB ready catchers. Obviously, 2 of them a little bit more proven, but I would say Moreno, maybe at the time you could argue Kirk, but I would say Moreno probably had the most upside just because of the power dynamic, maybe a little bit more speed, a better arm. And he played really good with the D-backs. So obviously Ross Atkins had a decision to make. He thought about it for hopefully a long time. And it's tough to say if the Blue Jays made it the right move right now because it is still so early.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that one. Where when these trades happen, I can't stand the people who, after 1 year, a guy has one good season or a guy has one bad season, and they make their decision on, did my team win this or did my team lose this one because of this reason? Blah 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 blah. Well, it's only been 1 year, right? Moreno could be horrible next year. Who knows, right? At the end of the day, though, how do you think he stacks up between our two guys?
If I had to rank these catchers based off their last seasons, I think you probably have to put Moreno at 1, unfortunately. I think Jano probably would have had him if he played more games, and obviously just Kirk had a down year. The thing with Moreno is his pop time is insane. He gets the ball out of his glove so quickly. He's got a great arm. He's obviously faster. Well, looking at that guy run, it looked like he could have been like a left or right fielder. Like he is very fast for a catcher. But the thing is that he's had 1 season of success.
Yeah.
So that is a big risk to make, especially when you have 2 proven guys. Like Jano's been with the Blue Jays for a long time. Kirk was coming off the 2022 season, Silver Slugger, great average All-Star. Yeah, it's so early to say that we made the right or wrong move. But I just think that with the Jays window and how they were as a team, I think they did make the right choice in that instance because Kirk and Jano were going to help the team more at that time.
Yep. And you know what? I think this is a move that we knew we were going to have to give up a catcher. Moreno probably had one of the higher trade values, besides Kirk. But at the time, you're thinking Kirk's coming off that year. Can you trade him? And Kirk, it's not like, yeah, he had a down year, but it's not like he was horrible either, right? And Jano, I mean, yeah, you would have liked him not to be injured as much because he could have had a really, really good season. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be the next 2 to 3 years that are really going to make this decision for us of who won and who lost this trade. At the end of the day, I'm with you. I think Moreno, if you just look specifically last year's stats, obviously I think Moreno's number 1. But I don't know. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens this year and see, hopefully Danny can, stay a little bit healthy and we can see, his full potential.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Jano has showed us how big of upside he can have, and same as Kirk. The only thing that makes this a little bit harder for me to swallow is that in the World Series, Game 2, in the first inning, Moreno just launches a baseball in left field and hits a home run. Maybe a little bit of jealousy there that the Jays weren't in that position. But yeah, with Kirk, I mean, Kirk has one of the best eyes in the league. And I think we can just go back to his comfortability with the catchers as well. These pitchers on this staff are used to pitching to Jano. They're used to going through game plans with Jano. Kirk have done it multiple times. And there's no point of ruining a good thing, right? It's not like these catchers have been bad. And it's a tough thing when you have 3 catchers and you kind of lose leverage on the trades, right?
And one was unproven. Moreno was unproven. The other 2 were proven. So you had to make a decision.
And with the trade value aspect, just with the fact that Jano was older and a little bit more injury prone, we weren't going to be able to make that trade involving Jano.
Yeah.
And so it was pretty much a Kirk or Moreno debate. And just with the veteran presence, I think it was good to have Jano back there to kind of mentor either Kirk or Moreno. So like I said, they're both young. I think Moreno is 23. I don't know that for sure, but have to quote me on that.
Yeah.
And then, call me out in the comments if I'm wrong about that. But Kirk is definitely 25. I really only care about the current Blue Jays. So since Moreno got traded, best of luck to him, obviously. But see ya. Yeah, exactly. Get out of here. So yeah, I think Ross made a right decision, and it's just so early to to make a decision on if we should have kept Moreno or not.
Yo,
Yeah, that's two this week.
love it.
Jesus,
Yeah,
cracks. You love to see
it's
it.
okay. You're 16.
I
Again.
think I think the problem with this trade is just like what we got in return. It's tough giving up Gurriel and Moreno for Varsho, especially when he had a down year.
Yeah.
So that's what Blue Jays fans are going to be more upset about. But in terms of which catcher we should have included, I think there's no reason to be mad about this.
I agree. And you know what? We have another sort of draft that sort of we've been thinking about doing for a bit now. So I think we're going to do that and get into that right away as well. Happy Super Bowl weekend. I am over the moon pumped. Carter's making his buffalo dip, or I might make the buffalo dip. We'll see what happens. And I am going to celebrate this Super Bowl with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. If you're like me, Super Bowl Sunday is all about scoring the best seat on the couch, grabbing my favorite football snacks, that buffalo dip. I'm going to keep saying it until Carter makes it, and placing some super bets. I told you guys my bets. We'll see how they play out. Let me know if you guys ride with me or not. And I'm sorry if they lose. I am not legally responsible for any of your losses. All right. FanDuel has so many ways for you to end the season with a W or 2 or 3. And not only can you bet on who will win the Super Bowl, but FanDuel also has bets for who will score a touchdown, how many points will be scored, yards, so much more. I mean, coin flip, anthem, color of the Gatorade, I think. Like anything.
Is
that
Travis
you guys...
Kelce going to propose? That's a crazy bet that we were going over. I don't even know how people are thinking that's going to be real, but
it's just ridiculous. But me and him are going over the props. There is an insane amount of props.
There's some funny ones. There's a Canadian viewership one, which how would you even know how many Canadians are watching the Super Bowl? I don't know if this is public knowledge.
They said apparently it's a TSN. And somewhere else will like release their stats or something.
That's just a crazy thing to bet on to me. If you're going to bet on sports, bet on the actual game. Why are we betting on this nonsense?
New customers join today and you'll get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to sign up. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Yeah, I know why I just said why bet on the random props, even though I said I'm going to bet on the yellow Gatorade. So, a little bit of a hypocrite, I guess. But no, I'm confident in the yellow Gatorade. And another one thing I want to bring up is maybe I could have got away with that voice crack earlier in our podcasting careers, but now I know that is going to stay in for sure. So you guys can poke fun at me in the comments for that. I just wanted to say 70% of you guys aren't subscribed. We're getting close to 1,000. That is our goal. Somewhere in spring training, hopefully for sure before the season. So if you guys could just subscribe, like, comment on my voice cracks or whatever other things that I'm talking about, whether it's good or bad comments, we always appreciate them. And follow our Twitters, Braden5 Owasco and Carter First 2, because I could not get the one, and I still have to figure out how to get that one.
We do appreciate more so the good comments than the bad comments, but we will take the bad comments as well. Yeah, I was not going to let you, I let you get away with the first voice crack. Then the second one sort of caught me off guard.
I don't even know if I got anything out.
I don't know. I
have to look back at that.
I thought something was coming up, to be honest.
Well, a quick throw up on the podcast. I mean, we're sliding that for the weekend, if anything. But
oh God, yeah. So anyway, enough housekeeping stuff. We got a cool draft for you guys today. We're sort of going to do like who is the most electric player that we see on the diamond. If they come up to bat or they come out of the bullpen, if they whatever. Who do you most like to see out there? Honestly, that just fires you up. And also, I'm going to give you the first pick.
One person for me every time this guy comes into the game, and I don't know if it's because of his walkout song coming out of the bullpen, but it's time to get serious when Jordan Romano comes out of the bullpen in the 9th inning. Easily for me, just like same thing we always talk about, the killer mentality on the mound. He literally looks like that you just killed his entire family. Like he looks scary on the mound, and that's the kind of mentality you need. He knows that he is better than you, and he is going to show that he is better than you. So that was an easy 1-1 for me. Didn't look like you were too happy about that.
No, that was going to be my 1-1.
I think I snagged that from you. Thanks for giving me number 1.
And the other thing with Jordy is that he's so confident that he's like, I'll put 2 runners on and then I'll strike up.
He's all about entertaining everyone, right? He's like, I want this game interesting. It's not going to be fun if I strike up the side immediately. They just like make it fun for the fans, right?
Jordan Romano is one of our guys that it's like, him and Davis Schneider, I think are the two guys we talk by far the most about because we love those two guys. But surprisingly, for my first pick, I'm going George Springer.
A great pick too.
You know what? The leadoff home runs, the electricity that he brings to the outfield, just so awesome. I love watching him play. Yeah, he's just one of those guys that like he steps up to the plate. You think immediately like you're like, oh, something amazing could happen here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, George Springer always puts his body on the line. Does have quite the history of accomplishments. So a very well respected guy in the Blue Jays organization and across the league. For my second pick, I have to go with the hound on the mound, Chris Bassett. Just the fact that he can throw a million pitches is just so cool to me. Like he just decides that he wants to throw a forkball, for example, and say, "Yeah, I'll just learn that in the offseason." It's so cool for a league that is so hard to pitch in to be so effective with so many pitches and just the ability to keep hitters guessing at all times. Obviously, 200 innings for Chris Bassett. First complete game in a long time for the Blue Jays as well last season. So yeah, the hound on the mound, same thing. He's a dog out there.
My second pick, I am going with. Oh, I'm gonna go with Babe. I'm going David Schneider. You know what? He was so electric when he first came up that almost it was to the point where he came to the plate. And I'm like, this guy might be the best baseball player of all time.
Yeah, that 3-week span was unbelievable.
So just for that fact, I'm going David Schneider. And yeah, I don't know. He just seems like an electric guy again. That attitude of where you can tell he's having fun, but he's very serious. He's very locked in. Very cool guy to watch play baseball.
Okay, so for my third choice, I want to put an asterisk on this because the last 2 seasons, mainly the last season wasn't good. But when this guy is on and he is hitting the ball in the air and at the correct launch angle, he is one of the coolest guys to see hit home runs. And that is 2021 Vladdy, but also just good Vladdy. If Vladdy can come back and actually just play some good baseball and be a little bit more effective in the box, this guy could honestly be the most electric guy to watch on the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the plays that he makes, just how hard he hits the ball, just him running out of the box. I mean, and just he does provide some entertainment, whether how much we kind of crap on him a little bit on this podcast.
Yeah.
It is sometimes interesting to see him having fun when they are up.
Yes.
I'm going to stress that when they're up in the game by more than probably 3 runs.
Yeah.
And when it is fun to watch the Blue Jays players have fun on the diamond. You don't want them to be serious all the time. But yeah, when Vladdy's not good, he is one of the least exciting players to watch. But when he is good, he is my number one. So that's why I still have him on my list.
Yeah, I think it's criminal that we allowed him to drop that far, to be honest. For my number 3, I had 2 guys. I'm going to go with my pick, and then I'll give this guy's an honorable mention. But I'm going to go with Bo Bichette. Just electric.
I couldn't decide if I wanted Vladdy or Bo Bichette.
Yeah,
but
yeah. You know what? I'm going to go Bo. I think I would have taken Vladdy first because I think Vladdy is a little bit more fun to watch. But Bo, that he's always going to be there, be steady. He's just a steady hitter, honestly. And I love that about him. And he comes up in big moments most of the time. Not all of the time. But my honorable mention, I did want to give a shout out to Kevin Gausman as well. I think him, I would assume he gets the opening day start this year.
Oh, he has to. That is an embarrassment.
But I thought he should have got it last year, and they gave it to Manoah. So
I mean, Manoah coming off a top 3 Cy Young
deserved.
voting, it is tough to take that away from him. But yeah. How can you not get behind a 7-inning scoreless start from Kevin Gausman?
Yeah.
With probably 10 strikeouts on that splitter.
Yeah.
One of the most effective pitches in baseball.
Before we let you guys go, again, we just want to say please subscribe. It helps us out big time, and it's cool to see that number just go up. So that's pretty much it. I think I sit on the app some days and I just watch it and I'm just like, go up, go up, go up. So it's fun. I don't know. I love looking at the analytics and everything. And but then I'm completely different in baseball. In baseball, I'm all eye test guy. But what are you gonna do? Check us out on our Twitters, Braden 5 Wasco, Carter First 2. Again, we will have Caitlin McGrath on Monday. Maybe we'll go over, do a little bit of Super Bowl stuff, tell you how the bets did, depending on how long that interview is. Might go over it on Tuesday just to, give Caitlin as much time as she needs.
And speaking of the Super Bowl, Locked On has its 24/7 streaming channel, whether you guys want to watch at 2 a.m., 2 p.m., whenever you guys feel like digesting your sports content, whether that's college sports, women's basketball, I know there is, obviously MLB, NBA, NHL, NFL, whatever you guys want to watch, we'll have on the 24/7 streaming channel. So just go to YouTube and subscribe.
And yeah, Have a good weekend.
Yeah, be safe. Don't be idiots this weekend.
Yep.
We'll try to follow
No.
that as well. Big weekend for the boys. Super Bowl weekend.
Geez, Monday's gonna be rough. I might be a little banged up.
It's Saturday beer league this time. You're not going to make it, unfortunately, but I will be there.
No.
So I'll suck for the two of us this weekend.
Appreciate that. Yeah, thanks. Take it easy, guys. Happy weekend. Happy Super Bowl. Blah blah blah.